Over in the NFC North, starting to look a little dicier. Not looking so good for the Detroit Lions, the next team in the NFC playoff picture. They fall 28-13 in Chicago. It's actually a game that looked exactly like the one we saw a few weeks ago, just without the miracle comeback. I'm joined now by the guys who called the game at Soldier Field, Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth, to talk about a young Bears team making an impressive statement against the division leading Lions. All right, guys. So much of the conversation with the Bears goes toward the offense, but let's start with the defense after a day like this. I mean, 4 sacks, 3 takeaways, 0 second half points allowed. What has come over the Bears defense here that's got them looking so dominant?
Well, we talked with Matt Eberflus about his defense a couple of weeks ago when we had this matchup the first time, and he was sensing a turnaround. This was not a good defense early in the season, giving up a lot of points. This was the last-ranked defense in the NFL last season. They had a defensive coordinator change when Alan Williams resigned. Eberflus took over play calling. But he seemed like when we chatted with him about 3 weeks ago that he was starting to get more comfortable. It seems like it's starting to play out in what we've seen these last 2 games for them.
They're pretty simple, but they will disguise well. And ever since they went out and got Montez Sweat, he's been a difference maker on the edge. And then using that disguise and having guys that will play aggressive. Also, they're really tackling well. And I always say this about defense in the National Football League. If all you do is tackle well, you're going to have a pretty solid defense when it comes to eliminating some of those scores the offense can get. So that's really what's been the difference so far, at least late in the season here for Chicago.
Mark, let's make sure we get to the quarterback. And I remember, Mark, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago we were talking about Justin Fields, and you mentioned we know you can make the highlight plays. It's about consistency. And here over the last few weeks, I know the game against Minnesota, maybe not a sterling game, but here against Detroit and several times over the last few weeks, it looks like we're seeing that. Do you think?
Yeah, I think we're seeing him progress, and I think that's the big thing. When we talked to the coaching staff, it was really about the anticipatory throws, throwing guys open. That needs to be the next step, and you saw some of that today, getting the ball out on time. Still, the holding of the football creates some sack opportunities, creates some pressure opportunities for the opponent, but you see him continuing to grow, and Adam and I talked about this during the broadcast. The one thing that you have to have is you have to have that progression from Justin Fields, because you cannot survive in this league long-term running the football and taking some of the hits he took today, because he took some big-time hits against this defense of Detroit.
Chicago Bears, winners of 3 out of their last 4. Quite a turnaround happening there. Guys, as always, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
No problem, Dave. Thanks, buddy.
I'm so conflicted about what to do with this Detroit Lions team because, look, officially in the NFC playoff race, they are sitting very comfortably in the 3rd seed. They are assured of a winning record. They still have an 86% chance of winning the division. So for all of the panic that I'm sure you're feeling if you're a Lions fan, the math is still on your side. But I will say, the vibes are off. The trends are bad. The vibes are bad. Basically, since their bye week, this has been an ongoing theme of lackluster results, particularly on defense, in my opinion. Since the bye week, 5 games, the Detroit Lions are allowing an average of 366 yards and 30 points per game. If you extrapolated that over a larger sample size, they'd be bottom 4 in yardage allowed, and they'd be second to last in scoring defense, respectively. It's really bad. And again, this is 5 weeks. This is a sizable chunk of the season that leads you to believe this isn't getting better. They're not turning it around. And over on the offensive side of the ball, hardly helping matters is that they aren't just turning the ball over, they're turning it over in bunches. 3 games in those 5 with 3 turnovers. They did it again against Chicago this week. They managed to bounce back from it the first time they played the Bears. This time, it completely sinks them. They can't seem to take care of the ball, or at least when they don't, it snowballs on them. They have played 2 games without a turnover, but in the games where it happens, it tends to happen 2 or 3 times. That is not going to win any games. And obviously, the yardage and the points equally bad on the defensive side. It's a weird spot to be. For years and years, Lions fans have been praying to have a team this good, a team that has a winning record locked up with a month left. But now that you've tasted it, do you want to be the team that peaked in October and early November and everything else is just a downward slide to the end of the season? Because that's what it feels like right now. And if you think I'm being too reactionary, much like the Cowboys earlier, go ahead and look at the Lions' schedule. It's all teams that are going to factor into the playoff race, whether that's the Denver Broncos, whether that's the Cowboys, whether that's 2 games against Minnesota. Doesn't look like a whole lot of easy sledding left on the schedule, particularly when the Chicago Bears have given you everything you can handle across 2 games. So, like I said, it's a weird spot. The Lions are a success story, I think, almost no matter what happens. Like to get a winning record, it's almost a success story. But if they can't stop this slide, if they can't start to play more inspired football at some point in the final month, Lions fans are going to find out quickly that just winning games isn't everything in the NFL.